everyone. It's Rob from Point2Point Podcast.
I'm Tony, everyone. Good day.
Hi.
I,
So, as a little treat today, we're going to be talking a bit about Elon Musk's Neuralink. You'll get two acupuncturists' opinion on, which is, I'm sure, going to be very interesting.
oh yeah, very interesting. They had the studies for I think, a couple months already.
Yep.
The first one they used a monkey to do the experiments, and I think a month ago this organization or company implanted the chips on one of the human trial. But they claim it's very successful, but it's interesting that the guy's mind's able to control the mouse by thinking about it. So the major thing is they want to cure Parkinson or other disability with nerves involved. I think it's good and bad. Good things is that those people who suffer or who've been paralyzed, they still can function um, to improve their quality of lives, I guess. So they really don't have to rely on a lot of people. They could do a lot of things by themselves, robotic in the mind.
They actually just had that gentleman in the iron lung just pass away. Was it this week
Oh,
or last
really?
week? Yep.
I heard that he went to hospital again a couple of 2 weeks ago and stuff. I did not know.
Yeah, apparently he was diagnosed with COVID.
Yeah, that's the strangest thing is I heard the news he got COVID, but who come in contact with him with COVID?
He was in a facility because
Oh,
he wasn't able to come out of the iron lung anymore. If I remember some of the details about the article, he was able to do something called frog breathing so that he was able to come out, but after he got to a certain age, he couldn't do it anymore. So he was confined to the iron lung all the time, but he was in a facility. While I was watching the video, like someone would come around, they would give him water and a straw so he could drink. They would shave him, they would wipe his face. Considering he couldn't move his body, there was always someone there to take care of him. And I think it's just at some point, somebody wasn't clean and they were able to pass it along to him.
I just amazed that he's 70 something, right?
Yeah, he was, I want to say 78. He was able to get a law degree. He was able to go to, he did school and work. I was even amazed that they took him out of the iron lung every once in a while and that he was able to, function and breathe on his own.
A lot of people who stay inside their iron lungs doesn't live that long.
Yeah.
Either you have to be out, pure, or
He was
dying.
a he
Wow,
was
he's
he was a
amazing
good
though.
fight. Yeah, he was a good fighter.
Yeah.
What happened? What's also interesting is I saw two other articles about Neuralink like studies. So there are other companies who are following through with the same type of study that Elon is doing. They're not as funded, but they've made some incredible strides. There was a company in, I believe it was Sweden, and I'll fix it up here if I'm wrong, and I'll also attach the video. They were able to use Bluetooth to reconnect the nerves in this person's back. He's actually able to walk again. He is learning how to walk after being paralyzed. The other one was a different company other than Neuralink, who had implanted, I believe it's called a node. And they showed the procedure where they would put it in the carotid artery. It would go down the back, it would go back and go into a blood vessel that was up on the top. The gentleman who had it had ALS, and he lost the ability to move his arms. So the way that they tested it is they put the node here. They had I guess it's either infrared or Bluetooth. They had another device here that would send the signal to the tablet, and they would train or they would read his thoughts, and they would train a certain way. It's like if I go left, I think this way. If I go right, I think this way, up, down. And he said he could do it most of the time, but it took a lot of concentration.
So it's
So
basically it's just like when we like an infant before college stage, you learn a lot of things.
yeah.
So resetting your body, retrains yourself.
Another thing that I had noticed, and I got this in the weirdest place. It was a YouTube short, and there was a company trying to do funding for trying to map out the nerves of the body so that they could study the electrical impulses that go in that direction so that they could start making a map of it. I'm sure a lot of people at some point in this world have tried to do that, but haven't been successful. I don't think that, they would probably be able to do it. However, I was very impressed by the Oslo study that they did on the gentleman with Bluetooth. That was the first time I've ever actually heard of it being successful, at least with, I can't say repairing, but being able to help the human body again, reroute the nerves so that someone can use a limb that's been inactive for a
Yeah.
while.
Which is good thing. So yeah,
Obviously, we have the other thing with stem cells too, because everybody
that's why
talks
I
about
was
stem
thinking about
cells.
the stem cells research. But if they can signal reprogram the minds to produce, it's just like natural stem cells
Yeah,
replica. In your body, you can regenerate your body cells as a passive ways because your minds will be controlling with the helps of the newer programs. You can actually regenerate them.
this
If
is
they able to tap in the right frequencies of
yeah. Well, this is where acupuncture starts to come into play. It has to be at least 10 or 15 years ago. There was a movie that came out,
oh,
a documentary about a guy who went to China after he was paralyzed. And for the
yes,
life of me, I can't remember the name of it. I want to call it
3,000
Thousand
needles.
Needles. Yeah, okay, good. You
3,000,
did.
a thousand needles. I'm sorry.
I never actually read it, but there has been a lot of studies done with nerve damage and trying to repair it with acupuncture. I have never seen it with any cervical damage. The only time I've ever seen it work
Mhm.
with somewhat efficiency is usually lower leg paralysis and
Oh,
Bell's palsy
milk
for
forces.
stroke patients.
Hmm. Is there 1,000 or 3,000 needles?
I don't remember. I know it's I think
So,
1,000 or something like that. But it took I never watched the thing, but I did read a few summaries and articles about it, and it
mm,
took him a very long time to be able to do anything with that as well.
well, they spent all the money. The family spent all the money to help the guy who's an Olympic gold medalist. He's a weightlifter.
I don't. Yeah, I don't.
He got a stroke. Fourth degree or third degree? I don't remember. The severe level.
Yeah,
Everybody thought he's gonna be pass away. There's the chances of but he's paralyzed.
yeah.
They tried to do PTs and get treatments, but then insurance later on denied everything. They said there's no progress. We're not gonna pay you anymore. So he went to his actually I think his brother had found out and his wife uh, and his brother both of them took him to China. I forgot which Nanjing or I forgot which part of China
Hmm.
hospital they in. They get treatments every single day. They put needles on him and they document with the camcorder back then. So he was able to walk and speak. I think he was discharged a while back. Then he went back to America, but then later on he passed away. I found out
Oh, I didn't even know
over
about that.
him and see what's going on with his life. But I think a couple years later he passed away. It's just that the stroke, it was too severe.
Mm.
There's a lot of damage you have. So it's interesting how acupuncture needles play a major role. So if we can do it with the needles to help people improve their functioning, well, input those microchips in your brain. I think it's much safer. Uh, why? Because I think Neuralinks, when they do the trial with the monkey,
Mhm.
oh, the monkeys have a terrible ending. I think
That's
monkey tried to
that's what
get
I heard.
he tried to get the monkey tried to get the banana or something happened, and yeah, and also the human trial, it wasn't approved by FDA. I heard, or there's not enough studies being approved. They just saying, oh yeah, it works. So a lot of things they're not sharing with the people. And what I fear the most is the movie like Terminators, which or Star Treks when they're the cyborg.
I'll tell you
Cyborg,
my
you fix them.
yeah, I'll tell you my story in a second because I thought that you're on the right idea with that. There was one scary one that I saw.
Oh,
It was an advertisement actually. I don't remember if it was on YouTube or not, but imagine like the Google glasses and the apps, but you can see it in your eye. It's
mhm.
more digital. This gentleman tried to go on a date with a girl. What he did is he brought up an app called
Mhm.
the Wingman app so that he would know what to say to the girl to be able to, you know, have a
Ah,
good date with her. And she would pull up another app to talk about, some other interesting topics that she didn't know about. So the two of them would have a good, working relationship. And I was watching this for like the first 5 minutes and go, wow, that was pretty cool. You can see some of the benefits of having this because you can program something, you can learn something while you're on the go. And then it took a little dark turn. What he went back, I don't remember either. They went to someone's apartment. I don't
mhm.
remember which. And he ran a hacking piece of software on the woman who stopped her dead, not killed her, but she wasn't able to move her body. She wasn't able to function because the chip malfunctioned.
Oh,
And this would kind of follow through with the same idea of giving someone a roofie or giving someone, uh, some
okay.
type of drug
Good.
to knock them out. And then one thing leads to another.
Mhm.
Scary enough, yes, we don't want to go down that route. I get the idea of being able to map the neurosystem of the body, but damn me if it ever gets that far. And that's not where we should be going with this. We should be going with this for health related reasons, to help people with paralysis, to help people with um, Parkinson's, to be able to control the twitching, the muscle twitching and stuff like that.
See, the funny things you mentioned about the things that you watch on YouTube,
Yeah.
when you talk about the Bluetooth thing, in my mind, I was like, if we at a war, they just shoot those things to block the signals. And
Yeah, but
the military who had those things in chip, they
yeah,
all
it shoots an
dead.
EMP and that's the end of it,
Yes.
we've heard of all about that. I would see, well, two things on that. First, I don't think anyone with that type of device would be in the military or at least fighting on the front line uh, right now. That would be also a very good device to help any of the veterans who are wounded in combat, especially if something happens. If we're going to go down the mechanical route, mechanical legs, mechanical arms, that kind of thing. Now we're talking about biosoldiers here. Yeah, now we're talking about science fiction and the Terminator and all that wonderful stuff. we don't know how EMP will affect that type of thing, but we also have to remember that we don't have batteries or electrical devices that can run those things for a very long period of time.
But if your body, the heart, generate electric current,
I don't think we can do enough of that. We're not that energy efficient. So we'll put solar panels on people's
so on
heads or
the head,
something. Yeah.
around.
Shave the
It's
head, put
amazing
solar.
though. The thing is, our technology advances very quickly.
Well,
Things get
yes,
much smarter.
correct.
Look at our cell phone.
Yeah.
It's only 10 years, 15 years. Wow. From a big phones now to very compact, tiny, and the batteries run longer hours.
They've developed new batteries in the last year or two, I think, that are like three times more efficient than the
Yeah.
three times efficient more than the old ones. They last 10 years now, 3,000 cycles.
Even even TVs, even light bulbs. Now LED
Oh
light
yeah,
bulbs.
all LEDs and they're all less power.
It's amazing how our mind works.
I
So I
just
think technology will improve very quickly. It's just how we stop it. That's the major key. When do we have to know saying, okay, this is the cutoff time? But since the world is all about money, I
Yeah,
just afraid there's no restrictions. By the time we keep producing, hey, it's good. It's good profit. It's helped a lot of people. Oh, yes. So by the time we realize, we might be too late.
well, that's the thing. If there's no money in helping just a single person, they're not going to do it. It's even with the cell phones are increasing quickly because they can mark them up.
Hmm.
And in case of some other ones, they make sure that they go defunct faster so that you could buy another one of the same next model that they come with. Oh, we'll send a software out that'll just slow it down, allegedly.
Yeah, that's what happened when you update the phones. That's how they feel it.
Allegedly.
That's how it goes. They can say no, no, no. Like Ryzen's like, oh, my modem. How come I paid for 300 megabytes? Now it's running 100 megabyte speeds. Oh, no, no, never, never. You just have to buy more a giga because everything's
Yeah,
required at
everything's
speed now, data transferring.
it's fiber. But yeah, everything's getting smaller and faster now. And I've seen some of the um, enhancements that they've done for people who have lost limbs, and even without any electronics,
Mm.
there's some very complicated things that they've been able to create that I'm very glad gives them the ease of use to be able to walk again or to hold things.
No, that's definitely is a big plus. But like I said, they should come up with some limits of what they can do.
Yeah.
Right now, there's no limitations, there's no boundaries. First, if we just get too used to it and people get too greedy, we'll do more harms than good.
Yeah, it all depends on what their focus is. What's their end goal for doing all of
Well,
this?
some
Because if
people,
it's for putting an OS in somebody's head, that's not what you're supposed to be doing with this.
well, just like right now, like Siri on the phone, iPhones or Alexa on
Yeah.
things, they actually listen to every single moment. What if that once they input those any microchips in you, they actually doing research, collecting data for selling products. Remember we do the computer sometime, oh my goodness, what the heck? How come this always popping out? Oh, they want you to buy this because you were searching for a phone. Now you have so many iPhone advertisements. What if they do that for in your minds when they put those chips in? What you see, what they collect,
Well, once again, it's less freedom and more control in regards to, I don't want to say what they can see inside your mind, but what they can force you to do.
Mm,
I let's take this for example. My dog has a microchip inside of him as an identification.
mhm, mhm.
You know, we understand that because if the dog ever runs away or if something ever happens, so at a vet or even at the shelter, they know where the chip is because it's all in the same place. They scan it, they can see who the dog belongs to, and they return the dog so that there's no issue. Now think about them doing that for a baby, human like your baby, and think about how that chip is going to be with him or her for their entire life. And every time they need to do something, they have to scan their forearm so that they can show where they were, what they were doing, you know, their location at a certain time. That sounds very extreme, I should say, but
That to me, that is kind of destroying the parenthood.
that too.
So they say, don't worry, I will find her and him.
But God forbid, but then, you take the pro side of it. God forbid something happens to the kid where he or she gets kidnapped,
See,
which
the thing is,
has happened, unfortunately.
I hate to say this, is these things does happen even with chips or no chips.
Yeah.
It's still going to happen. If it meant to be, if you careless, you don't pay attention, or somebody who's really sneaky, and it's hard to prevent.
And what's even worse is anyone who does that is going to know how to make that chip inoperable in
Mm.
one way or another. They'll be able to hack it, they'll be able to destroy it, they'll be able to take it out.
Is when we come to yin yang theories,
Yes,
there's no way you can only have one side and not the other side
correct.
uh, part in life. What we can think of is good, but we also have bad things to it, where we go against it 100%. To me, I not really go against 100%. It's just that we have to be careful what we're doing, set limitations.
Well, consent at first.
Hmm.
You need to decide, you need to have the freedom to decide whether or not you want this process done. If it's used for a medical benefit or a health benefit,
But
you should be able to have that choice. Some people will disagree with me. That's fine. But let's say, for example, you do lose a leg and they have a process to be able to attach another device there that you can hook up directly to your brain,
mhm,
but you need to have this chip installed into it.
mhm,
You need to make that decision. If you make the decision, you can go through the process, should be
right.
covered by insurance. If you don't, there should be prosthetics or any other type of alternative option that you can go through that can also help you. It always starts with the person's consent.
Yeah, because we cannot decide for that person. We don't know that person, how the person feel, what and their mindset. It's really, like you said, individual consent.
All right.
Thank
So
you, Robert.
thank you, Tony. I thank everyone who's listening to us today, and we'll see you next time.